Have you ever felt like no matter how much you did, how much you learned, how many things that you changed in your life, that the amount of effort you were putting in wasn't yielding results, or, the transformation that was supposed to happen just didn't happen? This is because you have a limiting belief that is holding you back in some way. I wish I knew this information like in my 20s. My life would look completely different now. I'm Rebecca. I am a medical intuitive and manifestation coach. And the intention of my YouTube channel is to share with you all of the tools and techniques, the wisdom and knowledge that has helped me to completely transform every area of my life. Today, I'm going to be sharing with you something that was extremely pivotal in my transformation, and that is learning about beliefs, learning about what a belief is, learning about how it's created, and then learning about how it is literally dictating the majority, like 95% of my life. And if you don't know this information, I swear to God, you are at such a disadvantage. And if you already know this new information, if you already know this information, is what I'm trying to say, maybe just hear it again, because I still research and learn about it every single day, and it still blows my mind every single day. So I don't think we can ever stop learning. Okay, what is a belief and how does it get created? So basically, from the time that we're born to the time that we're 7, we're literally running around like these little computers in a brainwave state called theta. And it's also very similar to hypnosis. That's why we're very impressionable while we're in hypnosis. And from this young age, we're taught how to think and act in every area of our life. And this becomes our conditioning, which becomes our automatic response. And the one way that I really love to explain this to my private clients is that we start creating these files. And I'm actually going to be specifically talking about money today, but we have this in every area of our life. So if you grew up in a household where it was kind of a paycheck to paycheck household, and so here the experience and the way that we create the files is from what we see and experience, what we hear over and over again, and what we see, what we hear, and what we experience. And so now you're an adult, and here you are, you're reliving these patterns, because if you pull up the file going to work, it's like go to work, get my paycheck, spend it all, go back to work, start again, because that was your experience. And we basically only have the files for what we experience. I'm laughing because for so many years, I would drink a cup of tea, I would like jiggle the tea bag, and I would put it on the sink. And my husband would come home and he would be furious. He'd be like, why do you do this? Can you please explain to me why you put the fucking tea bag on the sink and you don't put it in the bin? Like, why wouldn't you just open the cupboard and put it in the bin? I'm like, I don't know why you're getting so upset. Like, I literally did the washing, I unpacked the dishwasher, I've been entertaining the kids, and the only thing that you see is the fact that I didn't put the tea bag. This was a huge issue for years and years and years, but I think it is such a good explanation of how the subconscious works. Anyway, so I moved to the city, we split up, and I was learning about all of this subconscious stuff, and I was like, holy shit, my dad did that every day of his life. And I would sit, we had this kitchen island, and I would sit there, and he would always walk in, he would make his cup of tea, he would jiggle the tea bag, and he would put it onto the sink. So the first step in changing the beliefs is being aware that we even have beliefs. And then when you're aware that you have beliefs, that's when you can release it and reprogram it. Sounds easy enough, huh? So in order for me to change that, and I still to this day have this thing where I'll dip my tea bag, and it's almost like this automatic response not to put it in the garbage bin. And I have to be aware in that moment, and I'll be like, okay, there is that program, there is that belief, I'm going to make a conscious decision now to put it in the bin. So I don't know, I just found that was quite funny. When we come to money, because money is a really big part of our survival and it's actually involved in every area of our life. And I work with so many clients around the entire world. We work on relationships, we work on health, we work on success, but I feel like we have the most funky limiting beliefs when it comes to money. Another thing that I experienced in my childhood, and I just spoke about this on my podcast actually, is that it always felt like my mum had to ask my dad's permission for the money. And everybody will give a different meaning to the experience. So the meaning that I gave it was I always have to ask a male authority figure for money. And it started to show up in my marriage when I sold my house and we had like all the money in the account, and I didn't even transfer it to my account. I obviously transferred it to our joint account, and then I was asking my ex-husband like, how can we spend it on the next renovation? So I was asking him permission about how to spend my money, which obviously it's very clear to me now why this happens and why this was going on, but it wasn't really clear at the time because I didn't understand the beliefs. And I had done so much healing. I love healers. I'd been to coaches, I'd been to mentors, and I could feel like every time I left or stepped out of a session, I always felt better. I had more clarity, but I got to this point where I just felt like for the amount of effort that I'm putting in, the transformation in my business, in my life, my bank account, it wasn't adding up. And I literally had to sit there, and I still do this work to this very day. This is how dynamic and intricate it is when it comes to the limiting beliefs around money. Uncovering these. Here are some of the common ones. It's not safe to have money. You won't. I like my parents used to say like, I don't want to be rich because then you wouldn't know who your friends are. People will use you. Money always runs out. The big one is the either or. So it's like you can have money and be an asshole, or you can be poor and humble. This belief doesn't just get created in our household. And again, it's different for everybody. These are just some of the common ones that I see over and over and over again. And I was actually just in the kitchen and I was like, if you think about like all the movies that we used to watch in our childhood, the one movie that popped in for me was The Family Man. And so he was like Wall Street, really cold, had the penthouse, the apartment, the nice suit and everything. Or he could have the warm, humble life with his family. But I don't think many of us were shown that we can have it all. And I hit an energetic block big time when I started my business because I didn't believe that I could be a good mum and I could be successful. And again, I created this belief in my childhood because my mum went to work one day. She left me at home. I was sick. I can obviously understand that now as an adult. I couldn't understand it as a child. But it was like, work is more important than me. Success is more important than me. I'm going to be a good mum. And for me, in order to be a good mum, I couldn't be successful. Uncovering this belief, and when I uncovered it and I went back and healed that, so using my medical intuitive abilities, I did a soul retrieval and completely and permanently healed that earlier life moment. And literally the next day I had like 3 clients sign up. And so that's how I know how powerful it is and how it works. And you will know when you've changed a belief because your reality changes very, very, very quickly. It has to, because our reality is an actual reflection of our beliefs. My guides want me to share this story with you as well. So I started doing really well in my business. I manifested a 7-figure amount, and obviously, consciously, that felt amazing. I was like, okay, I know this works. I've been changing my beliefs. I've been decluttering the crap. I have been, releasing trapped emotions, and I can see the evidence of things showing up. And it was like the effort to the ratio felt much more in balance as opposed to before when I was trying to change everything. So your beliefs, like your subconscious mind, is running 95% of the show. So even just by changing your thoughts, that's a good thing. But it's like getting right down into the program is like getting right down into the roots. And so all of this amazing stuff started to happen. And I came home one day and I started freaking out, and I didn't feel safe. I didn't feel safe with the money. I didn't feel safe about all these crazy things. And I called my mentor and I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, I've just manifested a shitload of money. You know, my one-on-ones are booked out. Like, everything is going great. So why the fuck am I freaking out? And when we tapped into this, we went to the point of origin where it didn't feel safe for me to have money. And then I saw myself and I was like panning for gold. And this is the thing, it's never like, you should never be judging yourself about the situations that's happening. It's always just information. And so it didn't make sense and it didn't add up that I was at home freaking out about having money. Like, why would I do that? It's what I wanted. So why would I then freak out about it? So that for me is information. There is something going on in my energy that doesn't feel safe with this amount of money, and I want to know what it is. And when I know what it is, then I can release it, heal it, and then, free up that energy for more abundance and, calm my nervous system down. So I land in this past life and I'm kind of panning for gold, and I pull out these gold nuggets, and obviously, eureka, I had been searching day and night, or I don't even know what you call it, gold panning day and night for months and months and months. And here, jackpot. What's the first thing that happens? 2 guys are running towards me and I shoot both of them. So now I'm a killer because my abundance makes me a killer. And then I get shot because the next thing that I just see is me laying face down in the river and floating down the river. So that gets saved into the soul, which is the subconscious. So the subconscious is the soul. And I'm still carrying that until I release and heal it. And this is why, we have the patterning from our childhood. We have the past life stuff. We have, I know a lot of women feel guilty around money. I know that they feel powerless around money. And this has a lot to do with the patriarchy and the conditioning. And so for me, beliefs are one thing. And especially when it comes to manifesting money, you're not just manifesting money. Like, you are literally let going. That doesn't even make sense. You're literally like letting go of all of this crap that comes with it. And it just feels so, so powerful. So the reason I'm sharing this with you is because I wish somebody shared this with me. In my 20s, probably when I was like 15, I wouldn't have been really that interested in hearing it. But you can literally change your beliefs to change your life. And the first step is awareness. So becoming aware of the beliefs, understanding where it began. I always feel like that is really, really powerful. Disassociating it from yourself. I always say to my client, like, look at the belief that you've just come up with, and I want you to kind of just sit for a minute and allow the moments where that belief became your reality. And the reason that I do this with my clients is because I want them to see that, number one, they created that belief, and number two, that they're so powerful that that belief is creating their reality. And now, just like, repainting your feature wall or updating your wardrobe or updating your iPhone, it's up to you to change it. And I feel like the reason that this was so pivotal for me was because I had to do this myself. I was very good at outsourcing. I was very codependent. But it got to a point where it was like up to me to want to change this. And there can be times when people will say to me, yeah, but I've just experienced this over and over again. And when you experience something over and over again, it gets more impressed into the subconscious. And it's almost like it creates this neural pathway. It's the size of a freeway. And so when we're creating a new belief, it starts out like a strand of hair. And when you keep reiterating that to yourself, the new belief, it just needs a little bit of time because the new neural pathway has to grow and build and be strengthened. But the moment that you start questioning the belief, the moment that it loses its power. I mean, how long did you need to stop believing in Santa Claus? I remember I was shopping with my mum and I saw some things in the trolley and then I saw them under the Christmas tree. So I didn't really need that long to change my belief. I knew in that moment Santa Claus doesn't exist. And so it's just up to you to collect evidence. And anytime you tell me a belief, I will smash that belief to smithereens and tell you it's not true, because unless it's true for every single human on the planet, it's just not true. And when you start to see that, it's like, oh my God. I mean, humans are amazing at creating stories. So I hope that was inspiring. I hope that you had some aha moments. And if you have any questions, feel free to pop them in the comments below, and enjoy your day. And as always, expect miracles and money.